The conflict in Sudan has had a significant impact on neighboring countries, particularly Egypt, which has become a destination for a large and growing population of Sudanese refugees. This influx of refugees has presented both challenges and opportunities for Egypt, as the newcomers influence Egypt's economic landscape, public service, and social dynamics in complex ways. Angie Omar reports from Cairo.
Basma Khairi is a member of a Sudanese charity organization helping Sudanese refugees in Egypt. She says the United Nations Refugee Commission and other humanitarian agencies are providing aid to the hundreds of thousands of Sudanese refugees who have come here fleeing the civil war back home. Her organization, however, focuses on the most needy refugees.
As of the end of January, around 450,000 Sudanese refugees had fled to neighboring Egypt since the outbreak of war. Although they are safe, they face dire economic conditions, shortages in aid funding from international organizations, and a lack of the opportunity to earn a living and settle in Cairo.
The United Nations has said close to 500,000 Sudanese refugees have entered Egypt since the National Army and the rival Rapid Support Forces began fighting in April 2023. More than 1.5 million others have fled to other countries, and nearly 8 million are internally displaced. The presence of such a large refugee population has affected Egypt's economy. Rents and home prices have risen, especially in areas with high refugee numbers. This has put additional strain on low-income Egyptian families struggling to keep up with rising living expenses. However, the refugees have also contributed to economic activity in certain sectors. Some work in the informal labor market, and some refugees have started small businesses, injecting new entrepreneurial energy into local communities. Saeed Mubarak is a Sudanese butcher living in Cairo. Mubarak says he has experience in this job since he was a butcher in Sudan, and when he came here he opened this butcher shop because he doesn't understand any other business. He says he thought about opening a restaurant or something else, but he didn't have the experience to do so. Not all Sudanese refugees have the luxury of starting their own business in Egypt. Some desperately need financial aid to live in Cairo. Basma Khairi says her organization is addressing those needs.
Our organization is helping needy Sudanese refugees with food, clothing, and medical care, and provide some with vocational training to help them get jobs.
The influx of Sudanese refugees has placed a burden on Egypt's public services, particularly in the education and healthcare systems. Professor Ibrahim Awad is director of the Center for Migration and Refugee Studies at the American University in Cairo. He says Egypt should not bear the cost alone.
Certainly, Egypt suffers from very high population growth rates, and the services cannot follow. And therefore, some services are not of the quality that should be expected. I'm talking here about education, about healthcare, and certainly the arrival of refugees increases the pressures. Now, the international community, according to international refugee law, should contribute to responsibility sharing. It should, in the 1951 Convention on the Status of Refugees, the preamble there is talk about burden sharing.
Despite the challenges, some Sudanese refugees aim to contribute to Egypt, and many have found ways to support their fellow refugees, establishing community-based organizations and initiatives to provide financial aid. Angie Omar, reporting for VOA from Cairo.